one entrepreneur at Pfizer. There's many more like Charles. And that story was successful because of three components: sponsorship, tools, and community. So while it wasn't specifically called out, the reason Charles had access to this network of resources at such a global scale was because of the top-down support that our CEO and his leadership team provided this program, and in essence, this movement. And the reason the leadership team had a program to endorse was from years of business unit leaders and grassroots efforts that built up tools and processes and ultimately communicated the successes of their programs out to the broader organization. So gaining sponsorship is not easy, and it can take time. So the innovation team, we were in existence for 5 years before this really took hold, really started to accelerate. And it really, at that point, it wasn't until our CEO experienced one of our innovation and experimentation sessions for himself and understood how different this was from a normal Pfizer meeting, and how our culture at the time needed this injection of creativity and thoughtful risk-taking. So what's the takeaway here? Make this about your sponsors. And we heard a little bit about this morning as well. So immerse them in the process so they can see the value for themselves. Ultimately, you want to make that real for them and have them have that same vision in their head as you do in yours. So I mentioned those pockets of innovation and experimentation came together to form a program. And that program is called Dare to Try. So under a strategic lens, Dare to Try is our overall innovation and experimentation movement. It's about encouraging an entrepreneurial, or in this case, an intrapreneurial mindset to take thoughtful risks, step outside of the conventional ideas, and push the boundaries and provoke the organization and your teams into doing things different and disruptive. It's moving us beyond the incremental and into more the transformative and disruptive areas where we feel we need to be. In the practical sense, it's a set of tools and behaviors. Many of these we borrow from design thinking, lateral thinking, creative problem solving, lean startup to some degree. It's nothing new. It's a culmination of tools and behaviors that we compiled together that works within our culture and organization. If I had gone through these, a lot of these things are probably things that you guys have already been exposed to some degree. On one side of the framework, there's innovation, and that's all about that clearly defined problem, gathering your insights, and ultimately using those insights as a springboard for ideation. Then on the other side is the experimentation side. So it's taking your prioritized ideas and coming up with the critical assumptions that are needed for those ideas to be successful. And ultimately taking those assumptions and starting to create low-cost, rapid experiments around those to decide, is this the right direction that this idea needs to go? And obviously pivot from there if the data tells you different. And ultimately, this is all leading up to a decision point to either rapidly scale or rapidly fail the idea. And regardless of the output of that or the outcome, share those learnings back to the organization so they can also benefit from what you've learned. Many cases, we struggle to actually get our failures, which is ultimately the nuggets that we want folks to share.